Hey everybody, I'm back with some more card shares for you today. I have been cranking them out. I think my Christmas mojo was kind of pent up, so I started crafting and got on a roll. So I made another of these angel cards. I found one more of the white die cut. This, if you didn't see my last video, this die cut comes from a Sizzix, one of those old Sizzix red dies. I don't know the name of it. It's an angel, so I used that and this die cut that I had done earlier a couple of months back. This comes from the Written and Ribbon set from the Greetery, and I used Stamp Market inks and paper to put this together. So this is the citron color, and I actually stamped this with navy, but I know that it's looking green because when you combine the blue and the yellow together, you're going to get the green in there. So I used some navy cardstock and the citron cardstock here, and this is actually embossed. I don't know if you can see that, with a Stampin' Up! Embossing folder. And let's see if I can find it here. This is the one from a couple. It's called Winter Knit, and that's an old one. I don't know if they still have it in the catalog. Since I'm not a demo and I haven't looked at the site recently, I should take a peek. Here is the sentiment on the inside, and this one is from Paper Tray ink. So I just stamped that with the navy ink that is from the Stamp Market. So I have used all kinds of supplies for all these cards. So just know that I kind of dug into my supplies this year. This one is elf themed. So I used some scraps that I had lying around. This is cherry gingham paper from the Stamp Market, and the cherry ink for the sentiment, and the paper, the white cardstock, is for Paper Tray ink. That's what I use for all my card bases most often. And then I added this little it's an embellishment from Hobby Lobby I got years ago, and it comes in a pack. It's from the Paper Studio. And then this particular quote from Elf is from a Gina Marie Designs stamp set. It's got a whole bunch of different quotes from the movie. The one on the inside is actually stamped with some gray weather vane ink from Paper Tray ink. But this one comes from Little Inker Designs, and I know that she's closed her store. But this is from another Christmas set. It's not all elf sentiments. It's different sentiments that are kind of snarky. So that's where this one comes from. And I just put, again, I put this in there because I cut the border here using a Paper Tray ink die to give me more color on the front of the card without, overdoing it. So that's the next card here. And these are all made with, certain people in mind. This is the finished card with the Magnolia tilde that I used. I had shown the different pieces of it, and I planned on cutting like a little ice pond, so she'd be skating on a pond, and I kind of ground her in a little bit with some gray Copics and stamped this "Don't Flurry, Be Happy." I don't remember where that came from. Honestly, I saw it and I thought, oh, it's snow themed. Why don't I use it? And then I added some diamond stickles to the card. I had said before, the die that I used to make the flurries is from Ellen Hudson. Okay. And then I used some ink from Altenew to kind of spread some ink around and just give it a little bit of a blue tint. I didn't want to cover the whole card, actually, so I like the way that it's irregular. And then the inside is stamped with another sentiment here. That is also from Paper Tray ink. So, and that's the Caribbean Sky, that blue ink. This next card here is some stamps that I had already stamped out. The Christmas lights and the deer are both from Paper Tray ink, as well as the snowflakes that are underneath here. This is the whole reason why I wanted to build this up. I had found this sentiment in one of my MFT stamps. MFT stamp sets. Let's Get Blitzened. I'm actually going to give this to a coworker. I used a embossing folder that has snowflakes from Crafter's Companion, and it's one of those 3D ones. So it's got like, raised areas that are at different heights. It's kind of a nice look. And the window I cut using a Mama Elephant die, and it's from a set that has multiple pieces in it. But I wanted this sort of opening for the deer to be peeking out from the underside. So I did stamp a few of these snowflakes so you could see through, and the Merry Christmas again from Paper Tray Ink. So that's how I did this card. This next one was, again, inspired by the saying that you see here. I had originally stamped this in white embossing powder, and I actually did a boo-boo. I meant to do it in the ink, and then what I did here was use some orchid ink color, and actually this is the original color of the ink, on some vellum paper, so it comes out lighter. And then I embossed it with clear detail embossing powder so that it would set the ink and it won't smear if you run your fingers over it. So I had originally wanted this color to be like my choice, but when you stamp it on vellum, it's a little bit lighter. So I used a stamp set from the stamp market to do all these trees. The sentiment is from, what is it from? Oh, it's from a stamp set from Picket Fence Designs, or Picket Fence Studios. And all of the inks are from the stamp market, as well as this citron paper. So this is citron, orchid, emerald. I think that's tropic, this blue color right here. And then the pink, what is the pink? The pink is fresh pink. I have my color swatched out over here so I can actually tell you that. So, and then on the inside, I stamped a really big sentiment in the orchid color. And I think this sentiment is from Neat and Tangled. So, like I said, there's a big mix of cards here with different supplies. Now, here's the sentiment that I had stamped first with the white embossing powder. I didn't mean to do it, but then I had this extra piece and figured I might as well make a card with this die that was sitting out on my desk because I wanted to use it. And this die is from Ellen Hudson. It's a background die, so it actually just cuts the trees all at one time on a plate, and I cut it twice. So I cut into the green cardstock, which is from the stamp market, and then I took some of the Luxe Gold cardstock I have from Paper Tray Ink and cut it again, and then just popped in I actually put a really big piece of washi tape back behind this cardstock, and then I put some glue dots, yeah, dots of glue is what I want to say, on top of that washi, so it would stick better and it wouldn't fall out. So those trees are in there good. And then I went ahead and popped up this layer with some foam tape, and also tied some of this tinsel around. I just have this big ball of tinsel sitting next to me, and every time I think I want to use something on the card because it's needs something, I put it on there. So that's what I've been doing. All right, next card. This one, I was actually going for something else, and then it totally changed direction. So this is a background stamp from the stamp market. All it has is this Mary across the front. And so I stamped it with some Paper Tray ink, and that's Pure Poppy. I had also found a smaller stamp set that had the word Christmas, so I stamped that in Pine Feather. And I just basically pulled these two colors out of this strip right here that I had already stamped from years ago. And it has the same two colors, of course, in this berry swag. So I just added that, as a kind of additional color pop, and just something to look at on the front of the card. So this one is stamped with this sentiment here from Paper Tray Ink. I have a bunch of different Christmas sentiments that these are actually from $5 sets. There's 3 stamps usually on a set. It's like this. So I like picking these up because they're good for the inside of the card, and they're, you've got 3 in each pack, and it's $5 for a set, so it's pretty affordable. And they have different ones. So now this one was my last card I did. It was very much inspired. I wanted to use this die this year. I made my own shaker mix. And actually, if you look in this milk glass bowl, you can see the shaker mix. It is holographic stars, which I think Vicky may have sent me this pack of holographic stars. They're really beautiful. Look at the colors in there. So they're holographic, and then I put some little grains of white. It looks like sugar, fine ground sugar. I don't know what you call it, but that's what it is, faux sugar. And then in the mix, I also added little white sequins. These are the flat sequins that they're not cupped. There's no hole in the middle. So you can see that a little bit better. So that is what is in the sequin mix that I used. Now, this die is from a company called Charlie and Paul Chen. See here? They're out of Germany. They make this die set. Actually, it's two separate die sets. This star pattern here that just cuts into the paper, and then the actual star that cuts the paper itself, the shape of the star. So let me show you the set, just because I know that, you know, people might be confused about that. It's harder to find when it's overseas stuff. So they're not shipping to the US. Well, I don't know if at present they are, because a couple months ago I placed an order for some Christmas things that they had, and they refunded me. So I don't know if they're shipping to the US yet, but I use these dies that I had purchased previously. This is one of the star sets, and this is the other one. So they're two separate sets that I used. And this middle one is the one I used to cut out the star. And then I used the larger one here to outline it, because it fits perfectly. Now, you're probably asking, couldn't you just use any star set? Well, it may not be the correct shape, because stars are not, you know, when people make dies, they don't make them the same size or shape or shape that you would think they would be. They're not standard, right? So that's why I ordered both, knowing that that could happen, and had plans at the time that I ordered to make something like this. So here's my shaker card. I haven't made a shaker card in a while because it takes a lot of time, and it also takes a lot of supplies. This paper is from the same company. They released a kit that had gnomes in it, and this paper with the stars is from that kit. It's a 12 by 12, by the way. And then I used some Stampin' Up! Paper in blue sky as the card base, because I wanted it to be like a light color against that back. Behind the star here, I actually did cut a vellum piece, and this is because I wanted you to see the hint of the blue, but I needed something to cover the shaker bits so they wouldn't fall out as I was trying to position this layer on top of the front of the card, because it's not exactly the same size as the front, and I didn't want to screw that up. So I did cut a cover for it, and I just, I used score tape or double-sided tape for that, just to stick it down. So yeah, this is really cute. And then on the inside, I use this stamp. This stamp is from Paper Tray Ink. They have a stamp that has different sayings on it. Here you go. This is an old one. So this was a $5 set, but I'm pretty sure this was on sale. Global Greetings Christmas Wishes stamp set. So it's got a bunch of different greetings, but they're in different languages, like Italian and German and Dutch, I believe. So, yes, we do have folks that understand German in my family. So, I do not myself, because I never took German. But here we go. So, again, these cards were made for other people, for specific people in mind. And I think that's it for my Christmas cards for the year, I believe. Unless I get a hankering to do some more. I do have some extra pieces because of me cutting, but I'm going to throw these in my little container and perhaps use them next year. There may be one coming, or I don't know. Maybe I'll see. Look at this. I'm looking at it already. I have all these little bits and pieces sitting on my desk. Now I'm thinking there's another card here that I could make. I was going to make one with this green scraps here, and now I'm thinking I could do that with this star. It would be awesome, and just keep it in my stash for next year if I don't use it. So that's it for now. I'll talk to you later. Bye.